Hey everybody, we're back again, this time with a Gold Ana Moira / Ana VOD review. Currently, I'm a bit confused about my actual rank. I was Plat 2 last season. I have lost 13 games in this season, which caused me to drop to Gold 1. It's the third time I've almost reached the diamond level and then dropped back to Gold. I really don't know which skills or awareness I should improve, and I believe many people are facing the same issues as a support player. Key moment number 1 at 420 until 425. Wow, this is just a very specific one. Okay, just because there are a couple of seconds, we might actually check all three of them. Speaking of checking stuff out, make sure to check out the latest YouTube video. Blizzard changed the Sana skin. We should check it out. Okay, let's hop in game from 420 until 425. 420 until 425. The code with Z6. Code with Z6. Where is it? Z6. 420 until 425. So they say, I think I've been having really bad luck trying to keep Soldier alive as Moira. Actually, we had a hard time throughout the entire match and our team started complaining about my deaths, which directly led us to losing the first match. Is there something wrong with my situational awareness or is it just bad luck? I'm really confused about that. 420 until 425. Okay, let's see what you're talking about.
5, 4.
Meet your fate.
Okay, this team fight. This is gold. Just because you get picked here, that's it? I'm going to mute alerts. I'm sorry, I have ghost. I'm sorry, I'll replay your alert afterwards. Wait, that's it? I think I've been having a really bad luck trying to keep Soldier alive as Moira. Actually, we had a hard time throughout the entire match and our team started complaining about my deaths, which directly led us to losing the first match. Is there something wrong with your situational awareness or just bad luck? Okay, so first things first. This is just this, okay? This is just like getting picked. So, let's talk a little bit about two very important things. Number one, if teammates are blaming you, flaming you, and you feel like it's affecting your gameplay, just mute them and go next, okay? Like, you should have kept me alive there. You should have healed me. Sometimes it gets to you, sometimes it doesn't get to you. To some people, it never gets to some people, you get affected all the time when they say stuff like that. If you feel like it's breaking your gameplay, you don't have to get along with everybody that you play the game with. It's impossible. It's like getting along with everybody in traffic, okay? You might have some divergent opinions with how to approach a certain situation. That's okay, you know, that's okay. And if they want to be, if they're not nice about it and stuff, and they feel like it causes you distress, then just mute and go next. Because, for example, this is a textbook example of somebody in team chat saying something bad or tilting you a little bit, and then you get picked because you're not paying attention. Do you want me to tell you that you should not stay in the open against Cassidy because he can two-tap you? You know that. You know that. Like, you're in front over here in the middle. Ah, of course I should have used this wall or this wall. Amazing tips. Thank you, Mr. Streamer. I'm great. I'm GM now. No, this is a direct consequence of you probably having your mind somewhere else or not being entirely in the game. Because you're trying to keep Soldier alive because he's not getting supported that much, right? If your soldier dies here, just letting you know, if your soldier dies here, then it's on him. You'll try your hardest to try and support him because you walk in here to get in range to him is what gets you picked off. Literally, you pressing W here to help your soldier, which is playing in a very bad position. If that brings you some comfort, soldier is mispositioning severely over here. I mean, you can do this instead of getting high ground, you can pressure a little bit, but I'm not the biggest fan of this. That's the first part of the team fight. The second part of the 5-second situation that we reviewed is something more, you know what, let's make it 3 parts. First part, we talk about the tilting factor, okay, with teammates like telling you and stuff, and try to not let yourself influence, because as you can see, it might influence your gameplay. We covered that. Just mute, go next. You don't have time to argue, okay? You don't have time to argue. If somebody tells you, you should have healed me there, you can't go and explain, I could not heal you there because then I don't care, you should have healed me. You don't have time to do that. Secondly, think about what the enemies can do to you. Okay, you said that you're getting close to diamond. You kind of right now. This is gold 1 / plat game. You said. Think about what the enemies can do to you. In this situation, if you'd play against a Widowmaker, would you stay in open sightlines? You wouldn't. You'd always think, like, what can the enemies do to me? Right? So over here, Cassidy in the open, he can 2-tap me. You probably expected this. I'm not going to insist on this that much on this point because, again, probably you were just influenced by the first point. But TLDR, for the second point, try to be aware of what the enemies can do to you and don't let them do that to you. So, for example, you are in the open against somebody that can 2-tap you. Don't be in the open. Use cover. Thirdly, after you cap the point, think about what you... It's an equation. What the enemies can do to you and what you can do to the enemies. That is all that you have to think about. So like you cap the point, you get into a good position and just think about what can the enemies do to me and what can I do to the enemies. Depending on the day, you might feel more confident, right? You might be like, okay, they have Widowmaker, I'm going to duel her with Kiriko because I'm feeling it. Although I know I can get one shot, I'm going to pressure her because the higher you're going to climb, the more you're going to take like these very high risks. In this rating though, you can just wait for their mistakes. You do apply some initial pressure and just wait for their mistakes. So for example, over here, you cap the point with Moira, okay? And you go like, what can I do? I'm 20% to my ultimate. We are like 1 or 2 team fights away. I will focus on getting my ultimate. What can the enemies do to me? They have Nano Blade, okay? I know Genji hasn't played in quite a while, so I'm going to try to save the fade for his blade. I can get pinned by Reinhardt, I can get slipped by Ana, I can get a goal by Cassidy. Okay, fine, I'm 80 on this, and then you do, depending on your playstyle, okay? You do what's comfortable for you. So for example, why did I say the first thing? Because it's a combination again about factors, what the enemies can do to you and what you can do to them. So, if let's say you're a TikTok Moira, you could just go right side, ignore your teammates, mute them, and TikTok your way over here and tickle Cassidy's balls until his jaw drops to the floor. Okay, you can do this. You can go over here in kitchen and pressure. You can walk main and throw a damage orb over here inside. You can play around this rock and just try to heal up the one that is in front and taking some damage. But in general, the name of the game is pressure, pressure, pressure. Okay, so you have to pressure. Pressure can consist of damage. Pressure can consist of positioning. Pressure can consist of baiting enemy cooldowns. Pressure can consist of getting the enemy's attention. It can be, as long as you're doing something, you are a contributing factor to the enemy's decisions, which might lead you towards winning the game. To put an example, over here, this is 0 pressure for the enemies. You're waiting, you're not thinking about what you can do to the enemies. You're waiting, and you're just helping your team carry. This is not support, this is healer gameplay. Okay? Helping your team carry. You can do this from time to time. If, let's say, for example, this is a soldier that is 30-0, has visor, and he's been on point non-stop. Yes, you can pocket him. That's still support gameplay, right? Because you know that those are where your resources should go to. You have a Reinhardt that's very aggressive. You're going to fade with him. You're going to do everything that you can in order to win the game. As long as you win the game, you're going to... You don't care that much about what's happening, you know, in your playstyle. But in general, over here, are the enemies thinking of you? No. Make the enemies think of you. You have to be in their head. It has to be a damage orb thrown here. It has to be you playing from here. It has to be even you, I don't know, even playing from here and healing up. As a basic Moira rule though, once the fight is won, look for a damage orb where the enemies are supposed to come from. For instance, and yes, I said they're supposed to come from, okay? Because I don't know, how do you say supposed to arrive from? To come from. So, live editing, hashtag, I'm done. Okay, most of the times they will not come from here. They will come from here. They will either go main, either here or here, which means that if you find the route where the intersection, which is somewhere around here, then you'll get value out of your damage orb with proper timing. So you cap the point, You don't have to complicate it much. You don't have to think it that much. Just go here and throw the damage orb somewhere over here or even inside the room. Just throw it. You do not need it. You don't need the healing orb. You do not need the damage orb. You can just psh your allies and they're gonna get to their HP top. So again, to summarize, don't let the enemies, don't let your teammates be your enemies. You're already playing against 5 people. Don't let your teammates get in your head. You do not have time to argue with them. It's not about you not being a giga chad with arguing with people and you're running away from fights. It's about being smart with your time and understanding that you don't have time for this. You're here to win the game. You're here to play the game. You might get along. You might not get along. Fine. I'm still going to do my job. That said, we can argue after if you want. We can have a convention in which we're going to explain why I wasn't able to get you to full HP there because I was getting pressured. And I'm going to bring evidence and then sure, we can discuss that. But in game, usually you don't have time for that. So again, mute or ignore if you can. Move on. Don't let it affect you. Secondly, think about what the enemies can do to you. Okay, so I'm talking about like how menacing they are. For example, they have Nano Blade, so I can pressure a little bit, but when Genji's gonna be close to me, I'm making sure to have my fate to escape from him. If I'm in the open and I'm in Cassidy's range, I'm aware that he can 2-tap me. If Reinhardt has Shatter, then I can play outside of Shatter range, or I can play a little bit closer to the enemy Reinhardt and save my fate for when he shatters so I can react to it. It's all about personal choice, but as long as you're not playing mindlessly and you're thinking about what the enemies can do to you overall, like how threatening they are, then you're gonna get better results. And thirdly, every time once you win a team fight, you just gotta tell yourself pressure. That's it. Pressure. And with time, it's gonna turn into allocate resources. Pressure and allocate resources. Because pressure, it's better in these ratings to do stuff to the enemies than to help your allies, because your allies are also gold / plat as you are and they're not GM. If you climb higher up, you're gonna see that it's about allocating resources and it might be worth it to try and pocket somebody to make a play. I give this tip a lot, for example, with Ana Moira reviews. When somebody has their ultimate available, and somebody sends me a vote review from GM and Diana is pressuring for no reason. Bro, you have somebody that has ult advantage. They have a huge power spike right now. Why are you the one asking for resources instead of pocketing that person? But over here, again, you cap the point, you pressure, you do stuff to the enemies. Moving on, second point. I find it difficult to deal with flying heroes like Pharah and Echo, especially when they're pocketed by a Mercy while playing as Ana. Are there any tricks I can apply? Quick scope, don't stay in the open. I believe applying damage to the flying units I can see and forcing them back could be effective. Additionally, landing a sleep dart or using a well-placed biotic nade based on luck, I don't know, it might help. Do not use your abilities for flying heroes. 9:14 until 9:49. Let's see how you approach this. Usually against them, you'll not kill them. You have to be... You know what you have to be? You have to be an infection that you get from a thorn. From a splinter. You're like a splinter in a hand. This is how you have to view yourself when you're playing Ana. If they ignore you, if they let it untreated, you might kill them. But you have to be there. You have to, you have to be annoying. That's the key with playing Ana against Pharah, Mercy, or Gecko. Mercy. Your primary goal is not to deal with them. Your goal is to try to annoy them and do other stuff. So let's see what happens here. Let's see the team fight. You said from 9:14 until 9:49. Let me open this up.
You're powered up. Get in there.
A little bit earlier, actually.
I've got you.
I'm grateful.
You're powered up. Get in there. Being fortified. Kill confirmed. Rest up.
Good. Life Weaver.
Patched up.
Wait, you lose this team fight? There's no way you lose this team fight.
Come in. Double tango down.
Good. You win this. Okay, hear me out. So, let's go step by step. We're not going to split into multiple categories. It's going to be a bunch of, I would say, rapid fire tips that I have for you. The way that you approach the team fight was usually 90% of the times the right way to approach it. It's just that you're not as experienced, and you're not, because of that, you're not fast, and you're not clean with your mechanics and clean with your game. Okay? If you can do this by practicing consistently in workshop codes, exclamation mark code, maybe mods and code 2. I have a bunch of codes there. You can try Voxta, you can try Eat XTT, you can try wait. There's one with Farah Mercy. Which one's the one with Farah Mercy? Kiriko Tracer Practice. Use this code 2 more. Farah Mercy. T7CB6. You can use these 3 codes, practice for 1, 2, 3 hours a day, or I don't know, invest. If you do these codes 100 hours, I guarantee that you will outplay this consistently. You have the right execution, you have the right idea, but it's, you know how it is? It's like you're trying to do a 50-kilometer run when you just kind of like started out, and you can probably push yourself to 20 kilometers. Yes, you might finish 50 kilometers, but it's gonna look sloppy. Very sloppy. This wasn't very sloppy though. This was good. Your overall rotation stuff was good. I love the fact that you did not go on point. I love the fact that you stayed here. Doing quick scope shots against Farah Mercy or Echo Mercy is very important, and a lot of people just sleep on it because it requires a lot of mechanics to actually be able to do that consistently. And the reason why you want to do that is because if you stay scoped in, they can boop you. They have free damage on you because you move slower when you're staying scoped in. So quick scoping helps you reposition and be able to do hit scan shots onto those targets. You can stay scoped in against them, but usually you have time to do 1 or 2 shots before they look at you, and then you have to break the scope and reposition yourself. So I'm not saying to always do quick scopes, but it comes in handy in these situations. Now, wait, I took a screenshot. Now, why this was harder? It's not about your Ana mechanics. It's not about Echo, Farah, Mercy, whatever. It's not about that. It's about learning to invest at the right time. Okay? Learning to invest at the right time. 1 second. Yes. Because here at mL7 Support, during Teaching Tuesday VOD reviews, it's more than an Overwatch review. It's a life review sometimes. And investments sometimes can be a huge part of life, because right now I'm investing resources into me taking a sip out of this monster to maintain optimal hydration, and also to make sure that my mouth is moist, and other than that, to just enjoy the taste, so some pleasure, and other reasons that I cannot come up with right now, but still. So, invest. It's like you put in $50K, you wait 25 years, you see 5 million, and then you go like, oh my god, it's gonna get to 5.1. Woo! And then it drops to $10 suddenly. Dude.
Happy to assist.
You're 4 versus 4. Genji dies. They might have res. You have nano. Press Q. You're 1 fight away from winning this. If you win this fight, it's over. Do not care that much in these ratings, I would say, about ultimate advantage, ultimate economy and stuff. When you get to Diamond, when you get to Masters, that's when you should care about your ults a bunch, right? You shouldn't think, I'm gonna save my nano boost for the next team fight. What next team fight? Because if you win this one, it's over. They use 2 or 3 ultimates you can build. It ain't gonna happen, bro. It ain't gonna happen. Okay? I would say view your ultimate as an ability sometimes in this, in these games. So you go over here. Good nade, perfect. You reposition left side, you start walking. Throw the nano in. Who do I nano? I nano Risa, I nano Tracer. You have to nano target. Somebody died early, it's 4 versus 4. Nano Tracer. What would have happened if you would have nano Tracer? Good repositioning, by the way. Nano Tracer, pulse bomb there, whatever, kills Mercy. Still kills Mercy with nano boost. Or maybe he taps Echo. That's not being pocketed. No, never mind. 3-6 shoots. Mercy's dead.
You're powered up.
Now
Get in
it's
there.
already too late. Because you probably were thinking that you do not need Nano this team fight. Because they already used the ultimates. You're trying to reset. But no. Throw the ultimate. View it as an ability in these situations. In these ratings, at least. So that's part number 1. You throw the Nano in. You reposition your left side. All good. What happens here?
You're powered up. Get in there.
This was 0-25. I love the fact that you're not trying to heal up your teammates, by the way. I love this. This is really good. You're trying to look for an aggressive opportunity, an aggressive nade, an aggressive sleep dart. The nade intention here is sick. Okay? The nade intention here is sick. Like, trying to throw the nade here to get the Zarya, the Echo, and maybe the Genji was the right intention. But I'm gonna give you a trick in these ratings. In these ratings, usually gameplay is like this. Okay? Gameplay is like this. So, I'm Genji. I'm just going to dash in. I'm feeling it. Let's go. Like, people, I feel like they get in the mood. They're gaming. They're having fun. They're not being objective about it because you play the game for fun. And what happens is you're not that clean with it, which means that you make mistakes. And Ana, I've been saying this for a very long time. Ana's like this. Can I get that cookie? No. But can I? No. Can I go and get? No. If you view Ana like this with her grenade and her sleep dart, you're gonna get way better results. Like, your intention here is good. But the difficulty level, with keeping track of Zarya's bubbles, Echo might be flying, Genji might dash out in safety, Zarya's full HP, who's gonna follow up on your grenade? What if you think a little bit about who you can punish, right? Keep track of some important cooldowns, mobility cooldowns. Genji is one of the easiest heroes in the game to keep track of the cooldowns once you understand how his dash reset works. So, like, if he dashes and doesn't get an elimination on the target that he dashes, his cooldown doesn't get reset. So in this case, what happens? Does he get an elim? Genji gets rest. Elim, no elim. So he has dash, so he's gonna dash. So why don't I wait for him to dash and I just nade him? You can even walk over here and bait him to go for you. He dashes to you, you nade, that's it. Because you have Nano active, you have the pressure. You don't need to get kills. You need to survive right now a little bit. You will get the kills. Genji would have died. Echo would have died. So, like, wait and punish. Wait and punish. It's to corroborate with the first part. With the first team fight. Yes, you pressure the enemies. But you don't pressure with all of your resources. You pressure a little bit. It's like this. You send, let's say, 5 or 10 soldiers. And they send 1,000,000 back. Because they get scared. Same thing here. You do 1 or 2 shots with the Genji. And then he invests his entire kit on you. Oh, thank you. Big return, big investment, big return of investment. Roy. 6 sleep down onto Echo. Over here, a small mechanical thing. Execution-wise, on-scope shot, nade, and that's it. Don't have to think it that much. Just stand still, on-scope shot, nade. You might have waited for Lifeweaver to pull. Or you might have not kept track of this. Honestly, I did not keep track of them having a Lifeweaver and pulling. Of course, the more we're gonna see Lifeweaver, we're gonna get used to actually keeping track of his pull. So in this case, investing the nade was a mistake. I would have done the same thing. Because we should have expected the pull to happen. Oh, by the way. And then you win the fight anyway. Another trick that I can give you. If you nano somebody, try to make their life easier. In this case, you can make their life easier by supporting them, and you can support them more than just by healing them. Okay, you're not a healer; you're a support. If they focus somebody, then you can help them focus the same target. You can invest the same resources. So, for example, let's see Orisa's point of view during this fight. You nano. She goes for Zarya. What if we follow up with some shots on Zarya here? Make sure she's full. Just nade the Zarya, sleep dart the Zarya after the bubble is over. Just shoot the Zarya, for example. Maybe should have been sufficiently low with more shots that she would have died here before Valk was popped. You know what I mean? They're waiting, maybe even here invest resources. Same thing. So you can pick a hero that you play with. I do this a lot with Genji, for example, like, or with Tracer. You see me that when I nano them or when they do something, I follow up on what they're doing and I'm trying to help them, right? Because you nanoed and then you forgot about her. You nanoed and I'm gonna do something else to the enemies, which again was good. Again was good. It's just a matter of practice in this case with your mechanics. The fight was, again, as I said, 90% of it was approached correctly. But the biggest tip that I can give you out of this single team fight is just save the abilities for wait 1 second. Save the abilities to punish the enemies sometimes rather than looking for resources. You can look to force enemies to do stuff with your aim, with your bullets, which is the resource that they don't need that much. I would say that bullets are probably a good positioning is more valuable than bullets, right? Because you can just reposition. If you put yourself in a immobile hero, then yeah, you can force the enemies to do stuff. But if you misposition and you're forced from a good spot that you are anyway, it's better to just waste bullets for that. Anyway, we don't have time. We usually do 2 key moments. So let's just hop in vote review right now. Because you submitted 3, we're going to do 2. So, what to work on to improve fast? Let me take a sip. Aim, positioning, cooldowns, decision making. Aim, positioning, cooldowns, decision making. I literally think that your graph should look like this, and I'm not joking, because right now you said that you're somewhere where you don't know what to do, right? You don't know how to improve really fast, and in this case, I like you to view it like this. You have a problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Problem 10, value is 1.5% if you fix it of you improving. Problem 11, value 0.002%, like a better way of using your sleep dive, for example. Problem 15, though, if you fix it, it's 60%. Fast improvement to your gameplay. So in this case, I would say that your aiming and your decision making will probably result in you, thank you, love, will probably result in you getting value really fast and learning really fast from to improve faster. So let's go step by step. Code. Aim wise, Olaf recommends you do this. Do aim training. Your intentions are good, but execution is sloppy. Okay, execution is sloppy. Now you have to finesse it, if that's a word. Also, with your aim. Now with your aim, that's it. That's literally it. I would say with your decision making, try to punish. Try to tell yourself pressure after each team fight. Okay? Just pressure the enemies. Think of what you can do to help your allies. Number 3, pressure, punish the enemies. Number 4, view your ults as abilities. And number 5, what would be number 5 that we talked about? We have a bunch of tips. You know what? Let's just jump straight into quantifying. Let's just jump straight into quantifying this. So, aim training, eat XTT, Voxta, and also T7CB6 workshop codes. In queues, 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes a day, do this. If you can increase how much you do it, you're gonna get way faster results, way better, way consistent. Be careful though. Aim training is very muscle memory dependent. If you do this for a week or 2 and then you stop doing it, then don't be surprised that a month that you're not going to aim the same way that you were aiming while you were doing it. If you plan on improving and climbing, then you have to do this consistently. And then if you want to improve even more, then make it more difficult. difficult. What should you do? What routines should you do? Whatever. Bro, I see that you know the game. I'm not going to tell you, move your mouse from left to right because your flicks from left. Dude, whatever you feel like, as long as you're landing the shots or practice to land the shots, you're going to do really well. Okay? Just put in the hours. It's like this. As long as you have proper form in doing an exercise, you will see results. You're not hurting yourself by jumping in workshop codes, in custom game modes. Practice same training to, I don't know, get a tracer or get a fire or whatever. Number 2. Try to say pressure and apply pressure 5 times each game. So this can be before fights, this can be mid fights. Have you ever had like those fights in which you feel like it enters a stalemate and nothing dies for 10 to 15 seconds? Just remind yourself to say pressure, pressure, pressure. This can be you positioning to the left side. This can be you diving the enemies. It can be diving the enemies. It can be you looking for a sleep dart, looking for a nade, looking for like sleep dart, sleep dart, sleep dart, sleep dart. Number 3. I would say punish enemies 3 times a game. In this case, I'm talking about looking for cooldowns from the enemies and punish them. But it's not as a reaction to what they're doing. It is as a proactive reaction, if that makes sense. So a reaction to what they're doing would be Genji dashes in and then you nade him. A proactive reaction would be, I know he's gonna dash in. He has dash. He's gonna dash to me or to Cassidy. I'm gonna nade him. That's it, and just wait for it. The way you can do this very simple is not by making a speech about it. It's by just saying the name of the ability. For example, you're playing against Winston. Jump, 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 jump. He jumps, I punish. With how you punish, it's up to you. Nades, sleep dart, repositioning, whatever. Same as countering ultimates. Barrage, 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 barrage. Inside your head, you see me do this a lot in Decision Making Monday. They have barrage. I know I can save my sleep dart. I know I can nade. I know I can position myself. I can do a bunch of stuff, right? And how you approach this, it's all on personal style. But if you just pressure the enemies a bit more, because you know what to do, right? You pressure the enemies a little bit more and you punish the enemies for their mistakes, you're going to do way better. Number 4, try to help the ally that is the star of the fight. I've been using this term since the beginning of Overwatch. I would say that it's not used that much, but what it means is it's about power spikes, which is a term that comes from MOBAs. Like, you have sometimes some heroes in the game that are stronger than others, or like that's the best moment to pop off. The best example I could give you would be a nano boosted Genji in his blade, or Mercy damage boosts a soldier in the open. That's when you can invest resources into helping your ally. This can be you healing your ally up or contributing to your ally getting eliminations. For example, we had that Orisa on point that was nanoed. Healing her there was not the right choice. You weren't doing that. You were applying pressure to the enemies, but not to the enemies that were trying to be focused down by Orisa. It's like you're splitting resources, you know? You're literally splitting resources over there. And of course, a bunch of other tips that we talked about during the VOD review and we did not encapsulate in the Olaf VOD review. Hope you found this useful. Make sure to drop a comment if you found it useful or not, and if you climbed after it. And if you enjoy and want to see more of this, make sure to subscribe. Till next time, mL7 out.